Hey y'all, this is Driver. So, we're gonna do another ATS video tonight. It's gonna get separated out. Obviously, I'm not gonna throw all these up at one day, but so anyhow, see how we're here with we got a load of hay on here this time. So I'll let you kind of see that. I usually start out there. I goofed in my last video, and I'm gonna go back inside so you can see it a little better. But now you can see the bar at the top of my screen. That's the overlay for Truckee. I'm checking this out, try something different. It gives you a lot of info up there. You can change a lot of the info. Just kind of depends upon what you want to do because you can go into this is their settings area, and I can go in here and I can enable and show all kind of different stuff or hide different stuff if I want. So I can do all that. So there's a lot of neat stuff in here. I'm not going to go over that. I'm still learning Truckee, so there's no way I'm doing a tutorial, at least not yet. Um, but if you like what you see up there, now I would change the color of the bar to the blue. I just want something kind of mild, and yeah. So anyhow, we got this load here. We're gonna run this load. We're going from Albuquerque, where we delivered last. We're going over to Lubbock with this hay. So for a nice little easy ride, and chit chat with you guys a little bit more. So I got to fix my seat. I have to. My office chair will recline back a little bit, and there's a deal on the side that I can flip, and it locks it from leaning back. And if I don't do that, my seat leans back every time I hit the brakes or the clutch. So, anyhow, hope everybody's doing pretty good. I'm actually feeling half decent tonight for a change. It's off and on. There's times I'll feel good like I do right now, and then 10 minutes later I feel like garbage. So it's just something I'm having to work through.
Turn right.
But so yeah, there's been a lot of neat changes in the game that I haven't really been able to cover. I've done pretty much all the events since pretty much since I did the last video, I guess you could say. Just things like that. I've been trying to keep up with the news with trucking, and I've got my ways that I keep up with it, mostly through the blog site. If you're in my Discord, I post them in the ATS news as I see them. Sometimes I forget to go look, but it is what it is. I am human. I'm allowed to forget and goof up now and then. But yeah. So tomorrow, I don't know what time. I don't know if it's going to be at midnight, which is literally an hour and 20 minutes from now for me, or what. But the new DLC is going to drop, guys.
Turn right.
We're gonna be able to go to Illinois. There's already been some early access videos out there. I don't get early access. I wish I did. I think it'd be pretty cool if I could. That way I could show off new stuff that's coming out.
Keep left.
So that's released tomorrow. Today there was an update, and I went and checked to see what that was all about, and it was the new Volvo. So they got a new Volvo. It's got a newer looking hood and stuff on it, and apparently it's also electric. I don't know if it's both, if it's diesel and electric, or what the story is. I need to go look at it. I did buy a Peterbilt 579. You guys know I drive a lot of this old school looking equipment or fancy looking stuff. I don't drive the newer rides. I'm not a fan of a lot of those, but I was thinking about it the other day, and there was some stuff that I was working on, and I was like, I really should give some of these other trucks a try, build one. Doesn't have to be crazy like these are with all the gadgets and everything. Just build it nice, put a good motor in it so I can keep up with everybody, and just give it a ride and see what it's like, see what it's all about, and see if it's really for me or not. Honestly, I like the big hood trucks. I love this cab over. I don't know why I'm so in love with this thing, but this thing, I keep going back to it all the time. I drive this more than I do anything else now. Every now and then I'll be like, oh, well, I need to knock the dust off the Kenworth or something like that. But I'll drive it around for a day, and then the next day I'm right back in this thing, and I'm in this thing for a week or two, and it's just back and forth, So, but we all have the things we enjoy, the things we like, and stuff like that. And that's just kind of me, I enjoy this, so I drive this. I change up what trailer I'm pulling from time to time to, shake things up a little bit. When me and Papa truck together, we always pull the same trailer, and a lot of times I ask him, hey, what are we pulling today? And he's like, oh, well, we can keep pulling this, or well, let's switch to that, and I just go with it. I don't care. I have a lot of fun just either way. But, so yeah, I pretty much own every trailer in the game that's purchasable. Most of them I haven't really used. I keep saying I'm going to, but I haven't done it yet. So that might get more utilized in some of the other videos and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on with that. I talked in the video earlier, well, probably yesterday's video now, that I'm looking into adding more stuff to the channel and stuff. I know I haven't been recording and doing stuff, and I know people think I'm going to start something and not finish it. It's just, a lot of it's just due to my health. It's not that I don't want to do it. Before, I blamed it on my job because I worked a lot of hours and being a real-life truck driver. At the time, I was doing hot shop, but when you get up at midnight and leave for work at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you don't get done until midnight the next night or whatever, it's a lot of long hours. And at the end of the day, number one, I am not going to go drive a big truck or truck in real life and then turn around and sit down and play this for another 6 hours every day. It just ain't going to happen. I'm going to go play something else. So that's why I did a lot more Farming Simulator back in the day. But now that I'm not trucking, I enjoy this even more, and I enjoy it a lot when I'm hanging out with Papa. We sit and chit chat, hang out, and so yeah. But yeah, I'm really wanting to do the harder economy stuff. I want to do videos on that. That's going to be a slow progression. I will be upfront about that one. I did mess with it some. I've played on it for several days, I guess you could say, at the time that I was messing with it. And when you start a new profile in ATS or ETS, and I'm going to use ATS for example, because that's where I did the testing. The quick jobs, they pay great money. I mean, very good money. And by doing quick jobs, that's your initial way of getting enough money to buy your truck and start your career, in the owner-operator side. In the harder economy, you're getting, if you're lucky, half of what you were making to begin with. So when I started messing with it, I was getting around 30 cents a mile in the hard mode, and then I wasn't getting near the XP that I got before. And on here, if I go do a quick job, a quick job pays, about $1 a mile. So, it's a big difference. So it's a struggle to get your business up and going. I wish this game had more of a company mode, and I'm going to expand on that. So, in the real life trucking, you get your commercial license and you go work for a company. And I really don't want to throw company names out there, but you can go work for any of the big companies. All you got to do is just apply, and if they want you, they'll hire you. So in real life, when I first started truck driving, I did it locally, and I made about $10 an hour. And that was pretty decent money at the time. This was in 2003. The work that I did a lot of airport work and just a lot of stuff around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I always went to some of the same places all the time. And I was at one of the locations that I pretty much went to every single night to drop stuff off. And I was over there, and I was talking to one of the guys that I've always talked to before. He was a really nice guy. And I was talking to him, and he's like, hey, man. He goes, you ever thought about driving over the road? I said, I've contemplated it. I said, I just figured I'd just wait for that right opportunity. He goes, well, maybe this is the right opportunity. He goes, we're hiring. He goes, we're looking for a couple over-the-road drivers. I said, really? So we chatted about it. He didn't know what the pay or anything was, and he told me, he said, man, he goes, because I always worked overnight. He said, man, he goes, when you get off in the morning, he goes, we open at about 8 and go talk to so-and-so. And he told me the person's name. I said, all right. So I worked through the night. I was contemplating whether I really wanted to be over the road or not, and I was thinking, well, it never hurts to look, at least entertain it. So I went over there, and I said, hey, one of your drivers, and I told him who, asked me, told me that y'all were hiring over the road. So what do you guys offer? And long story short, we chit-chatted for a bit, and they offered me 34 cents a mile. Now, at the time, truck driving over the road, a lot of the bigger companies were only paying around 28, 29 cents a mile. So this was more than what I would have got at one of those other companies. And it was a smaller place. And I've always been attracted to family operated company, so to speak. So if it's smaller, I'm interested. And so anyhow, I decided to go ahead and take the job. They said, well, we want to make sure that, you know, you can drive and whatnot. So they had one of their guys, which actually was the same guy from the night before. He already went home and slept and came back to work. We did a driving test around the parking lot, and then I had to put the truck and trailer in a dock door. And I did that, and I got done and walked over to the back of the dock to see if I was lined up and whatnot. The guy I was talking to, that was hiring me, he was a dispatcher. He was looking at what I'd done and everything. He goes, man, he goes, I need to hire you just to help teach people how to park. And so I knew I was a good driver at the time, you know, that I could park. But I did a lot of local work, so you hit dock doors all day long. It just comes natural after a while. So anyways, back into the game side of it. This game doesn't do that. Their older iterations did. I want to say 18 Wheels of Steel had a company mode where you were assigned a truck and you were just given loads. And you ran those loads, and it didn't take real long to run. It was pretty simple and stuff like that. So why they didn't iterate that again baffles me a little bit. Well, I'm speeding like crazy, aren't I? Slow this whole thing down. So my whole thought was that this game needs a company mode that when you start, instead of taking quick jobs, that you either get a list of companies to work for, they'd be fictional companies, or it would just say, hey, you're a company driver, here's your assigned ride. And as long as you do good with the company, you drive the same truck or may get upgraded over time to something a little better here and there. But then after a while, you know, you could say, you know what, I got made enough money, bank will give me a loan, I'm gonna go buy a truck. And then you start your owner-operator career. And that's kind of my idea of how I think it should work. And I was talking to Papa about it one time when we were driving, and I was telling him a lot of the ideas I had rolling in my mind. And he was like, he goes, man, you gotta just turn that into a mod. And I'm like, dude, I wouldn't know how to start. You guys know I've done modding in Farm Sim a fair amount, but I would not know where to start in ATS. It would be a whole new learning curve. But I just think that would be pretty interesting because it would give a different iteration to how the game starts. And you could, my idea would be you could pick your mode. You could do traditional game, which is like the arcade style, where you start out and just doing quick jobs, making that money fast and getting your business going. Or you could check a different box or another setting that does a more realistic career mode, you know. And I'm not talking about really the harder economy, because a lot of people are not going to be into that. But starting out for a company and just driving one truck. Because the one thing that annoys me about doing quick jobs, and this is what I'm going to deal with if I do that hardcore mode for a while, is every time you get into a truck, it's a completely different truck. One minute you're driving a Volvo, next time you're in a Freightliner, and after that you might be in a Kenworth. So every time you get a truck, you got to hit your F4 menu and reset your seat and your mirrors and all that stuff just to get going. So, I don't know, it's just one of those things that, you know, I thought about. But, so yeah, just some of the ideas I come up with. I think of a lot of crazy stuff, and I don't know, I don't know what to do with it half the time. I tell people about it, sometimes I write it down, sometimes I don't. I don't think most people know. I actually, growing up, I wanted to be a country singer. I've always loved country music, and I still love country music. Unfortunately, the new country music, in my opinion, is not really country anymore. It's turned to pop. But so I listen to more. If I go to newer music, I listen to more rock and roll now. But always had ambitions of being a country singer. And I've had a lot of people tell me I have a great voice for it. But the kicker is, nobody wants just a great voice. They want a person that not only can sing, but can also, you know, play the guitar or play an instrument in general. And I play guitar. I'm not very good at it, in my opinion. And I don't really enjoy the guitar. So when you don't enjoy playing it, well, I do at times. I have fun playing it at times, but after a while I either get bored or I get deterred from it because I don't want to do it anymore. There we go. So, you know, just some of that stuff. I used to try to write my own music. Oh my God, was that horrible. I could think of a tune in my head, like say laying in bed, just like, you know, you might hear a song you listen to on the radio earlier in the day. And then I would write it down, but then when I got up the next day, that was gone. I couldn't remember how the melody went, and even though I wrote the words down, nothing made sense, and eventually I'd get irritated and throw it in the trash.
Continue straight.
So I thought about using my guitar experience to do my own intro music for my channel. For most of my videos, I would have like a little bit of guitar playing in the beginning. But I haven't fully made up my mind if I want to do that or not, because I don't feel efficient enough in music instruments like that to really want to do that. And all of a sudden, for some reason, like I was talking about earlier, all of a sudden I feel hungry and I feel like I'm getting lightheaded. I do this sometimes when me and Papa will be trucking along, and we take a lot of breaks, so that's why I'm going to do videos instead of live streams with us, because we usually run a approximately a 400-mile drive, sometimes further depending upon what we're up to. And we when we get delivered and everything, we take a little break. Papa's got bad knees and needs to get up and move around. I need to get out of this chair more, honestly, and move around too, so it's kind of a win. So usually, you know, our breaks is a great time for restroom, grabbing another drink, finding a snack or something like that. So, and I do that pretty regular when we take our breaks. Or sometimes I just kind of lean back in my chair. I unlock it so I can lean back, and I kick my feet up. I got a footstool under the desk, and I kick my feet up and I get comfortable for a little bit. And sometimes I might just close my eyes because I got a pretty good headache brewing.
Continue straight.
So it just kind of varies. But yeah, sorry to get into the spill on my medical again, but that's just kind of what it does. It's also kind of bringing my headache back on. So I may do some more videos later, but I may have to take a break from them and
turn right.
And get something to eat. I ate earlier, but that was at, I don't know, that was probably four hours ago. So sometimes just a snack helps, and I'm trying to be a little smarter with my snacking. I'm notorious about when I want a snack, I like to just get into a can of Pringles, you know, or something that's not really that good for me. So trying to learn that. And you'll see my steering wheel move a lot more because I have the G-force on, so I feel all these bumps, and I'm gonna take my hand off the wheel for a second. That's just, you know, but it just pulled it right off the road almost. So, and when it does this, it shakes my microphone stand. It shakes everything. This table is not a desk in theory. This is a plastic folding table I play on. I've had this thing since before COVID. I probably had this thing 10 years or more. And, no, probably 8 years. And it's getting pretty beat up and wore out, so I need to either buy a new table or buy a desk. But it shakes the whole table. The monitors all wiggle around, and my webcam, I don't use it, but my webcam is on top of my monitor. So if I was using the webcam right now, you would see the monitor. You wouldn't see the monitor shaking itself, but you would see how it shakes the whole system, you know, the whole table and everything. So it's pretty wild how it does it. So do I turn here again? I know I've been here before, but my God, it's just a weird way to get into a joint.
Turn left. Turn left.
Break off.
Continue straight.
I'm cheating. I just set my cruise at 20 mile an hour, and I just kind of deal with the bumps on these kind of roads. Pretty cool. That you cows are looking at my hay going, hey, come over here. I would sniff the air as I go by. Kind of like a hungry dog when somebody's in the kitchen cooking a dinner. Yeah. That's the funny thing about animals. I've got friends that's got dogs and cats and stuff like that, and they'll eat their own food and everything, but as soon as somebody's in the kitchen, they're in there. Oh, you got cheese? You got cheese? I heard the wrapper. Want to give me a piece of cheese? They just sit there and bug you. It's funny. Let's see. What do y'all got this?
You've arrived. It's been my honor and duty to see you through this mission.
Right there. Okay. Let's see if we can not run into anything here. We'll go ahead and do a back end for once. Way too far. Oh, seriously? I'm still rolling in. Dump the clutch, I guess. I'm still trying to get the clutch adjusted and all kind of stuff. So, let's see here. I've never actually had to back into this spot before. Ooh, I got close to that pole. Almost hit that pole. That wouldn't have been a good day. That's how you scratch your stuff. Ah, I was on it. Close enough for government work, right? Farm away, 6 out of 7. I have to look at that achievement again. I can't remember exactly how it works. Let's see here. Alright. Shut this motor off for the time being and take a look out here. You can see my my trailer there that I use. It's actually a pretty nice wagon. So, alright guys, well that load's delivered, done, and in the books, and all that fun junk. So I'm gonna end this. Like I said, I'm gonna have to get something to eat, and I may try to get some more videos done. I need to do some testing with ETS and see if I can get ETS to start working a little better. And if I ever get it straightened out, I might start doing some videos over there, because ETS has got some real pretty scenery over there, real pretty. I mean, this game's doing very well, especially with all the reworks they've been doing. But ETS is a pretty nice game. So anyhow, guys, I'm going to end it here, and y'all have a great one. See ya.